My name is Mark, and here we're going to take a look at the different types of model and modeling practices that we have within CATIA in the 3D experience. So here we have what we call a part model. This is a solid model, often referred to as a feature-based model, meaning that we are able to build this one feature at a time. So if we look at the tree over here on the left, a feature-based model will have a history showing how it was created. And if I come in and I define and work object each one of those features, we can see that first there was kind of a large block pad that was created, actually a sketch and the pad from that. And then if I come in and change the define and work object, we can see elements that were added. And it was rounds were added. We can see the history of each element going on. In this case, rounds are added to the different areas of the part. And then a hole was drilled, then another hole, and a few more. This isn't a recording of each one of these features going in, but it does show the history of how they were created. What came first, what came second, what came third. It's not going to show how long it took to build it, or even the modifications that took place, but in general, that's the history of what came first to what came last in the build order. Another term that is used with this is considered a parametric model, which means there are parameters or dimensions that control each one of these features. So if I go in and modify this sketch, it'll either have dimensions or have the ability to place dimensions. Here we have the dimensions. I could go in and modify this and say, I don't want it to be 25 anymore, I want it to be 20. It turns red, letting us know that it needs to be updated. I'll exit my sketch, and it now made that area shorter than it was before and updates the model accordingly. So this is a solid model that we're able to build within CATIA. The app that is used most often to be able to modify this type of model is what we call the part design app. So if I click on the compass and type in part, here we have part design. There are other apps that can build things like this, but this is the one dedicated to most of those features that you see there in the tree and how it's created and what we're able to build in a part file. Okay. Now, CATIA also has the ability to create what we call surface models. A surface model can be done a number of different ways. I'm going to click on this and see a very basic 3 cylinders that are created. And a surface model creates these infinitely thin, kind of paper thin surfaces that make up the contours of the model. We're able to use surfaces and curves and straight lines, if you will, to be able to build the surfaces and kind of hang them on the curves that we need until it builds the shape that we want. This is often used for more organic shapes. Think of like the exterior of an aircraft or the exterior of an automobile, where you want more aerodynamic surfaces, or the way the light reflects off of it is more important to you than necessarily making a simple rectangular or circular shape. So, just to show kind of how this model is set up, here we have the original surfaces. I have an area where some points have been created along those curves, or along those surfaces. I can now create some curves that exist on those points and kind of outline where I want my new surfaces to be created. And now I can use this on hide here, and I have some surfaces that were created for that area. You can see if I hide some of them individually, looks like they've all been joined together. I'm going to delete that join. And here we go. There's the new surfaces. I can come in and hide some of them individually to show you what one might look like on its own. And with this, we're able to define the space in which that surface is going to fill in that area or be swept across that area, depending on how it's built. And we can define what's called the continuity, which is how smooth of a transition it has from one surface to another. If it's making a connection to it. Do we want it to be just touching and any old angle will work? Do we want it to be tangent as it makes that transition? Or do we want it to be curvature continuous and the rate of change is the same as it goes from one to the other? Those are some of the things that we can do within our surfacing tools. This surfacer is still parametric, which means there's dimensions that I can control, like this point. If I want to be able to modify its location, right now it's based on a direction normal to the XY plane and on sketch 1, so I'm not going to be able to really type a new dimension here, but I could give it a new plane to work off of, and it would turn 90 degrees if the plane was 90 degrees to this one. Or if different ways of creating that point, I could build it where it's a ratio on that curve and be able to adjust the ratio or adjust the length, and it would spin along that curve and be able to adjust it. There are surface modelers where you can pinch and pull and adjust the model, but it won't have the parametric dimensions to control or history to be able to control what you had originally to what you have now. We can take this surface modeler that I have. Again, there are a bunch of different tools that allow us to do this, but the one app that is most commonly used to be able to build a surface model like this is going to be the Generative Shape Design app. If I click on it, it shows me Generative Shape Design up here in the upper left, and all the tools that we have down here are for building surfaces, like the one you see there. Once you understand both solid modeling and surface modeling, we can then create parts where we incorporate both. So this happens to be kind of a pipe like the one before. It doesn't always have to be a pipe, but with this one, if I hide the pipe geometry, or at least what it will let me, it seems like the colors have been changed, but that's okay. Here we have a solid part. If we look at how it was created, first there was a pad that was built of this shape. Generally it's not going to be the surface color, but it will be a solid gray color to begin with, but that's okay. Then we have the surface thickness that was performed. Now, that surface thickness was built based on all the geometry we have here. I'm actually going to hide that. Go back to this. If I unhide the geometrical set where all the surface geometry is, I can show, in fact, I'm going to go to Properties, Graphic, and let's change the color of it so that we can see it a little bit better. Let's go with green. There's an infinitely thin surface. In fact, I could hide this and you can see just the thin surface that was created, and that was built via all of these points and curves and splines that set that up. Once that was created, we can go back to the Part Design app and be able to thicken that, which gives us the thickness we saw before. And then finally there's a shaft feature here which created that little area down at the bottom that was revolved all the way around. Now the surface colors generally do mean something relative to how it was created. So like this yellow color you're seeing here is generally meaning that it was a surface model, but it doesn't have to be. Any feature of any part of the model can have any color you want to have. So if I go to Properties on this, instead of being that yellow color, I can set it to whatever I'd like, and we can make it the color we want. Okay, we're going to reset it back to the default colors if necessary. So this is a hybrid model because we have both solid features and we have surface features that are built into it. Now, one other type of model that you might see while working in CATIA are sheet metal parts. Sheet metal parts are still considered solid models. They can be built using surfaces or built with solid features, or they're built completely as sheet metal parts. And if we use the app designed for this, We'll go to the sheet metal design app. Again, it gives us the set of tools for sheet metal modeling. So with our sheet metal part, we can come over here, find the fold and unfold, which is what I was looking for, and that will be able to give us that functionality within our sheet metal part. Okay, so those are some different modeling practices that we have within CATIA. You might find some other models like the ability to create a meshed model, where that can be done for things like structural analysis and things like 3D printing if we're creating a mesh. But that's not something that it would really be a beginner level feature. That would be something you get into with more experience within your modeling process. Hope that helps.